And you know what the I hate? You see somebody that you know running a business and you want to do the same thing. So you ask them what steps did they take? And it's mainly our race. Friend, I'm asking, I'm like, yo, I want to start a business. How can you do it? Because she's successful. Well, Jess, it's a lot of hard work, you know. Okay. I dedicated everything I had. You know, I committed. You know, it's going to be a lot of long nights, a lot of sleepless days. You know, I'm talking about the steps. Who did you call? How did you get started? Specifically, Jesus. Believe it or not, Jess, Jesus and God were the only two people I called. They were the only ones to help me through this. Well, bitch, what's their numbers? Because I ain't getting nowhere with you.
Hey YouTube, it's your girl, The Real Teddy Talks, educating you daily on entrepreneurship, your hustling, your grind, and building generational wealth. Today we're going to talk starting a business step by step. I'm going to go through the long list of 10 steps to start a business, and I'm going to talk about some sub-steps, some subtopics within that, and then for the rest of this week, I'm doing a video every day, as you already know, so I'm going to go through each and every step in more detail and in more depth. So stay tuned, let's get into it. Step number 1 of starting a business is do your research. Figure out who is your target market. Who do you want to market to? I've said this before, I'll say it again. You need to have an ideal customer in mind, an ideal persona, an ideal client. It doesn't have to be just one person, but you need to know all the demographics of each person you think you're selling to. You need to know their gender, their age, if they're married or single, do they have kids, do they have a job, what is their average income, what is their education, what is their ethnicity. And the reason you need to know this is because once you get down several steps and you want to create your marketing plan, which costs money generally, if you're going to be running ads or you're going to be blasting out to certain people, you need to know who those people are. There is no product that's made for everyone. I guarantee you. I've mentioned in a few videos before, there's that magic smiley sponge. I love that sponge. You would think that product is made for everyone, but you'll find it's not. You know why? Because some people don't clean their house, and people who don't clean their house don't need that sponge. And the same goes for business. You cannot create one-size-fit-all product for everyone. So you need to figure out who is your ideal client, who is your ideal customer, so you can market directly to that person or those people. And part of your research is knowing who's your competition. The best way to accomplish all of these is to be the client, right? You need to act as if you're the person that's buying what you plan to sell. Go online, start your Google searches. And once Google realizes you're looking for a certain thing, they're going to start blasting you with ads and sponsored campaigns and recommended this and recommended that. YouTube is going to go on there and they're going to say, oh, you like this video? Here's some other videos you like. You need to know who your competition is and what they're doing and who are they targeting. And if you're at all oblivious or uncertain of who your target customer is, that's going to help you figure it out. So be your customer, be your client, look at it from their shoes, put yourself in their shoes, see what they're seeing, and that's going to help you formulate everything. You know, they say imitation is the best form of flattery. It really is. And you're not imitating like stealing. You're imitating like, what has this person who's been successful done? How did they do it? And let me do it. Market research itself is a whole complicated thing, and I actually break down the market analysis and market research into 2 separate videos because it's something everyone says you need to do, and nobody, and I mean nobody, tells you exactly how to do it. It took me months to figure out and perfect how to do market research, so I'm going to give you that gem here in the next coming videos. Step 2 to starting a successful business is determine how you're going to reach your customer. What is going to be your avenue of reaching them? Is it going to be face-to-face? Are you going to go door-to-door? Do you have a brick and mortar place, a building, a booth at a farmer's market, something where you can see your customer every day and you can talk to them directly? Are you going to use a website? Are you going to use social media and have like a social media presence? Or are you going to do social media marketing and social media ads, which is 2 separate things if you're going to be using social media? Are you going to do email marketing? Are you going to do affiliate marketing? All of these things are different. You can use them together or separate. You can do 2, 3, or 4 of them, 5 of them, 7 of them. You might need to do all of them at different times, but you need to be thinking about that because that's going to determine how you're going to brand yourself. That's going to determine, do you need to get a website now or later? Do you need to just buy a domain and use that for your email address without actually having the website quite yet? There's several variations that we're going to go into in future videos, but you have to be thinking about this thing. How are you going to reach your customer? So the first step was to research, know who your customer is. Second step, figure out how you're going to reach them. All of this is living and breathing, and it can change. Don't lock yourself in a corner. Don't put yourself in a box and saying that this can't change. But you need to have the plan laid out before you get started, and then adjust as needed. The third step to starting your business is going to be to do a business plan. Now, when I say business plan, I don't mean a 20-page document that goes into all these figures and numbers about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, how much it's going to cost. But you do need at least a one-pager, and I'll link one down, a template down in the comments that links to my website. A one-page business plan that kind of lays out the why, and I always say start with why. If you don't know why you're doing something, it won't be successful. Honestly, if you don't know why, if there's no why behind it, it won't be successful. So know the why, the what, the how, the when, and the who. That goes in your business plan. You can fit that all into one page. It's a document you may need if you need to get some capital from an outside source, if you want a loan, if you're going to be working with a small business administration, they're probably going to push a business plan. If you're going to have an outside investor, they're probably going to want to see what's your plan, what are you doing, where are you going with it. But really it's for you, and so you can see what you want to do, see how you want to grow, and adjust as needed. We need these visual reminders. There's no one that can start a business without having written something down and saying, this is what I want, this is how I want to get there, this is why I want it, and this is where I'm going. So I highly recommend a business plan, even if it's just a one-pager. Check down in the description box so you can go to my website and just download a free download of a one-page business plan template. The fourth step to starting your business is budget, budget, budget. This is the point in your business ideation, your business creation, where you need to contact a CPA, phone a friend. It doesn't have to be this $250 consultation, but you need to go locally, go to one of your small businesses, go to a small business in your city, call someone in your state, go online, try to find someone that you can trust. It's right now when I'm making this video, it's the beginning of February, so you want to do this sooner than later, because the closer you get to tax time, the busier these accountants, CPAs, and bookkeepers are, and they're not going to have time potentially to answer your questions. So hit them up now, or be prepared to wait until after April 15th. But you need to ask them, tell them what you plan to do, and they can help give you some advice on how you're going to do it. Also, part of the budget is figuring out how you're going to pay for the things you need. What is your budget? You have to figure out how you're going to pay for what you want. What items are the most important things you need to pay for first? So you have your urgent, your important, and your emergent. All those are expenses, right? So your important expenses are the ones that must get paid for before you do anything else. The important expenses are the ones that you need, but you maybe don't need right now, like a website. You're going to need a website. You will need a website. Social media is not a website. You're going to need a website, but you may not need one right this moment. And then your emergent are things like, oh shoot, I forgot to do this, that, or the other thing, and you have to pay for it, so you need to have like a set aside emergency fund for that. You also need to know your startup costs. You're not going to know every detail, but you need to say, I need to educate myself. I need to buy some programs, some software, some online courses. I'm going to budget $250 for that, or $200 for that. I'm going to need to do a website, a domain, an email address. That adds up to $30 a month or $25 a month. You just need to have all these things kind of thrown out there where you know and you're kind of expecting, and you have a cushion for that. And you also need to know what's your break-even point. Once you spent all the startup costs and you're in the red, how are you going to get to the black? If you're a pressure washer and you had to buy your equipment and you bought a nice shirt that has your logo on it, and you bought the logo, so you're about in maybe $250. You got your equipment, your uniform, this, that, or the other. How many jobs do you have to do to make back that $250? Maybe just one job, maybe two jobs, and then you're in the black, and then you can go forward from there. So you have to know what's your break-even point. The fifth and very important step of starting a business is figure out your business structure. Once we start getting into the whole make it legal side of things, people kind of glaze over their eyes. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to explain it to you. I'm not a lawyer, so I feel iffy about telling you. No, I'm going to tell you what you need. You need a business structure. One of the most popular structures when starting a business is a sole proprietorship. And the reason it's popular is because it doesn't cost you anything to do, right? You're using your name, and you probably have a DBA, a doing business as, attached to your name if you do have a company. So I am Theodora, and then on my company I wanted to be Theodora International, but I didn't actually incorporate myself. I'm just a DBA. So DBA, Theodora, DBA, Theodora International. Very simple. There are some pros and there's cons to that. One of the biggest cons is you are personally liable for anything that comes against your company. And that's why you do want to set up a legal entity and incorporate at some point, but I'll get all into that in the next videos. Some other popular business legal structures are, you have your partnership. It's still kind of like a sole proprietorship, only it's a sole proprietorship with more than one person. You have corporations. So you have your S Corp, your C Corp, you have my favorite, the limited liability corporation. I'll go into nauseating detail with that in a future video. So that's your LLCs. And then you can have a partnership LLC as well. And there's probably a few others, but those are the only ones I'm going to cover. So you'll need to know your business structure. You'll need to talk to a lawyer. Hopefully you have a cousin, a mom, a brother, a nephew who's a lawyer, and they can spend some time with you and kind of give you a little bit of advice. If you don't, find someone online that does. They answer questions, maybe like half-hour type consultations. You'll probably be out of $150 for that half hour. Lawyers don't usually bill out less than $300, $350 an hour and up. But it'll be worth you talking to someone in your state that you plan to incorporate in so you can get the down and the dirty on what you need to do and how you need to do it. The sixth step to starting your business is registering your business. Now, if you did actually incorporate, then that registration was done as a part of your incorporation paperwork. When you do your LLC, you're registering your business name with the state. Now, if you don't do the incorporation, you're doing a sole proprietorship, you'll need to check with your state and see if the name that you want to do business as is already taken. Quick segue, I wanted to start a business several years ago. We had it all set out. I had the name, I had the branding, I knew I was going to do the advertising and all that. And then I got to the point where I was going to register my name, and damn sure someone in my state already had the name of my business. And it was very unique. So I was like, and it was a bookkeeping service. I wanted to do a personal assistant service, and I think the name of it was, what was it? Anyway, it was a unique name. I just was sure I was the only one, and sure enough, someone else had it registered, so I had to come up with a whole new name and a whole new scheme. Do this earlier than later, because had I gotten business cards and God forbid bought a website or something like that, I would have been out of a lot of money. So figure out the name pretty early on in the process, and then go through your state and your city and your county to register those documents, which will lead me to these next steps, and get your licenses and all that. Oh, and get your domain. If it's a catchy name and you think it's someone that could want it later, or you start branding too soon and these email black market, domain stealers find out that that's the name of your business and you didn't buy the domain, then they're going to buy it and they're going to try to ransom it for you. They're going to try to ransom it, or you have to pay money to get it from them. A lot of celebrities had this problem where they didn't brand their name. I'm just going to say Steve Harvey. I don't know if he did this or not, but if he didn't get steveharvey.com until well into his career, someone could have gotten that domain, steveharvey.com, and he would have had to pay them for it. There are laws that are emerging that are trying to prevent that, but be safe than sorry. Get it earlier than later. Step number 7 in creating your business is getting your licenses and permits. You will need a business license at a minimum in your city, potentially your county. So check into your local laws and find out you do need a license. You need to have it. Now, if you're doing something like a service-related field that requires a specific license, like cosmetology, you're a barber, you're doing any kind of homeopathic, physical therapy, you're touching on people, you're working with kids, you're educating people on a more professional level. Like I'm a certified defense financial manager, so if I wanted to advertise that fact, I had to make sure that my certification is up to date. So make sure you have your certifications appropriate to your business, and make sure that you can display them and then you can easily access them if questioned about that. Step number 8 when starting your business is tracking your spending. And I want you to track it from day 1. You start spending money pretty early on in the development of your business, even if it's just $10 for your domain, right? You buy your domain for the year, it's $11.99. You want to track that, and you need to have those expenses detailed, or where you hire a bookkeeper, which is in this step as well. Are you going to have a bookkeeper? Are you going to have a CPA? Are you going to have an accountant? Are you going to use accounting software on your own, like QuickBooks, HoneyBooks, Quicken, whatever it is you use? You need to start tracking your spending earlier. It's going to keep you honest. It's going to keep you in the black, and it's going to make you aware of choices you need to make. take? Should you get this or that? You know your budget, so then you know if you can afford to get those things or if you can't afford to get them. But track your spendings. And if I mentioned in an earlier video, there's some U.S. federal stimulus packages coming out that involve some grants and some loans, the EIDL, the PPP, and a couple others. And the one thing they're going to want to see is your expenses. So you need to have that done so that should an opportunity like this present itself, you're ready to hand it right over to them. All right, so start tracking your spending. Get your accounting software, accounting books in order, and think a little bit forward as well as how you're going to file your taxes. But that's a whole nother video. I don't want to discourage you, but have these things kind of in the back of your mind. Step number 9, and I think it's one of the most important steps of starting a business, but it's not as important as the other 8 things I've already named, which is building your team. Get your riders together, and by riders I mean your people you can trust. You need to determine who has the capability, who has the ability, who has the willingness, and who can you trust towards a simultaneous goal together. You need to have a team and you need to be working together towards the same goal. Your team is so important. Do not have anyone around you can't trust. Do not have anyone around you that doesn't have the same goals as you. Do not have anyone around you that doesn't know your why, and don't have anyone around you that's not willing to work towards your goal. Period. Dot. You're better off doing it by yourself than having any of those 4 people with you that don't have your back. And the 10th and final step of building your business or starting a business is branding and promotion. On my website, I offer a branding kit. I'm growing it every day. It has your logo, your color palette, logo alterations. It has your font packaging, and it has your color scheme. So that's an easy starter. I think it's priced under $30, maybe a little more. So that's a great thing. But you need to have your branding, your promotion. You can get your logo started, your website, your email address, your colors, and your message. So have all those things together, because when you start hitting that circuit, you start hitting those YouTube videos or those social media posts or those Instagram carousels or the Instagram posts or your Facebook advertising, your Instagram advertising, whatever it is, you will have your branding package done, and it's a plug and play. It is so important. It's step number 10 of starting a business. I know that was a lot to digest, and I'm going to break down each and every one of those steps. So I'm having at least 10 videos coming. It'll probably be more because, as I mentioned, the market analysis and market research are 2 separate things, and they're a whole video all by themselves. So stick around, stay tuned in the next several days, couple weeks, where we discuss how to start a business step by step by step. I'm not that friend that's not going to tell you. I'm that friend that's going to take you through it and not hold your hand, but I'm going to give you all the information you need to be successful. As always, and as this video says, invest in yourself just 1% a day, reach your exponential greatness, and have phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal, results at the end of the year. This is The Real Teddy Talks, signing off.